Hi, Sam the Geek here, and this time I'm here to review the ultimate British family getaway, Butlins, the home of entertainment, redcoats and a very specific kind of organised chaos. We've just returned from a Monday to Friday stay during the February half term with our 3 young kids, aged 4, 6 and 9, and before you ask, yes, we survived. Are you excited?
Yeah.
You don't look it.
Yeah.
What about this one?
Yes.
Now, the headline price for this trip, including breakfast and tea for all 5 of us for 4 nights, was £933. Sounds like a lot, right? But here's the thing, Butlins have a price promise. If the price drops after you book, they refund the difference, and we ended up getting £218 back, bringing our total down to just £715. That is a huge saving, and it honestly changed how we felt about the value of the whole trip. So, was it worth it? Let's get into it. We arrived around 1 PM, a couple of hours before we could actually get into our room, but we came prepared. It meant minimal queuing and parking close to our apartment. We grabbed a table near the skyline, sat down with our packed lunch and just started taking it all in. The adults, of course, needed some much needed refreshment. Madry was £6.50 for a pint and half a cider was £2.50. Not bargain basement, but not festival prices either. After lunch and a rest, we headed straight to the fairground. Now, the rides here are basic. We're not talking Alton Towers, but for our kids' ages, absolutely perfect. And the best part, it's unlimited. You pay for the stay and the rides are included. That means you can let them have one more go without emptying your wallet. An absolute game changer for our approach to this kind of thing. One thing I really appreciated, the staff on the younger kids' rides are brilliant. If a child gets upset, they'll just stop the ride. No drama, no stress, it's free. So it's no big deal. And because the rides are free flow, we ended up coming back here multiple times over the week. Great value. Another win? Butlins is designed for almost any weather. Some of the smaller rides are sheltered, so even when the rain comes down, the fun doesn't have to stop. At 4 PM, our apartment was ready. You'll get in by 3 PM if staying in gold accommodation. We stayed here a couple of years ago and it had that fresh, new look. There's a 2-bedroom person room there, a 2-person room there. Yes, well, I don't think we'll be opening those windows today.
A white goose.
Larger didn't have any doors. Why is there no doors on the cupboards nowadays? This time, it had lost some of its shine. Stained carpets, marked walls, a bit of rust on the radiators. Yeah, radiator looks a bit grotty. The cleaning felt surface level. We actually wiped a few things down ourselves when we arrived. I felt really grossed out sitting on the sofa in particular. Not grossed out at all by anything, it's all perfect. We did put in a complaint, not to be difficult, but just to flag it. And credit where it's due, within half an hour a cleaning team turned up to sort out most of the issues. We just wanted to get on with the holiday, so they made it right quickly. So, points for responsiveness, but overall, it left us with the impression that standards had dropped since previous visits. Also, a quick word on the Wi-Fi. It's very patchy, so don't be relying on this with your Fire Stick or other smart device. And tethering is also very patchy. It's the struggle to get a decent signal. There are packages to pay for, but for free, yet you're going to be struggling for internet. It kind of works sometimes. Now, This isn't our first trip to Butlins. We've been coming here about every 2 years as our family has grown and changed. I wanted to include some footage from those earlier trips because, honestly, part of the magic of Butlins is how it grows with them. Our first visit, our eldest was barely walking. We spent most of our time in the baby pool and the soft play. Next time, we had 2 little ones and discovered how brilliant the fairground is when you don't have to keep feeding coins into the machine. And now, we've got 3 kids aged 4, 6 and 9. And suddenly, we're hitting the bigger rides, staying up later for the shows, and the older 2 are beginning to go to the arcade on their own. It's become a weird little tradition for us, a snapshot of where we are as a family every couple of years. And yeah, the accommodation might look a bit tired now compared to those early trips, but the memories, hopefully they are still going to be made. So let's see how we got on with this year's adventure. So, time for tea. We'd paid for the all-inclusive dining package, which includes a breakfast and evening buffet. And honestly, for a family of 5, this was a lifesaver. We paid £250 for the 4 nights, so 8 meals with everyone eating exactly what they wanted for £31.25 a time was worth it for us. Wow, what you got? Did we mainly live on pizza, chips and chicken nuggets? Absolutely. Was the quality amazing? No. But the convenience? Priceless. And the ice cream factory was a massive hit with the kids. There was a decent range and mains varied throughout the week. How many puddings have you had? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 16 bowls and plates between 5 people. 3 or 4 plates of food you've had. Breakfast was a similar story, but actually a bit more consistent. The French toast and croissants were genuinely delicious. Everyone did at least 2 or 3 trips to the food station. It's not gourmet, but it's exactly what you need when you're trying to fuel up for a day of entertainment. There are other eating establishments on site, but we stuck with this plan and made our lunches at the apartment to keep costs down. Now, let's talk about the shows. Butlins includes all the main stage entertainment in your stay, which is a huge plus. But there is a catch. You have to get used to the queue. You book ahead, but when you arrive, there's always this massive, undignified wait in a line that's often snaking around the building. Booking seems to mean nothing. People who haven't booked are let in anyway. This meant for one of the shows we ended up sitting on the floor. Best advice, if you can handle the wait, is to get as close to the front of the queue that you can stand. But the wait is often well worth it. For the Animals and Mythical Beasts show, the venue felt completely overfull, but honestly, this show was brilliant. Top production, great special effects, and genuinely funny. There was a silly song about llamas that had the kids in stitches, and then a stunning rendition of Wonderful World, with a unicorn that left our girls amazed. I would have happily paid for this show. It was run by the Animal guys and it was genuinely impressive. The Peppa Pig picnic show was more for the little ones. Butlins is great at these licensed tie-ins. It adds that extra bit of magic for the younger kids. Now, one show that really stood out for us was Brainiacs. This one was perfect for our 9-year-old son, who's really into science at the moment. It's based on the old TV show, and it's basically a live science experiment session mixed with comedy. They did all sorts of messy, explosive demonstrations, the kind of stuff that makes kids' eyes go wide. But what I loved was that it wasn't just for kids, the science was genuinely interesting, and the presenters had this brilliant energy that kept everyone engaged. Our son was absolutely buzzing afterwards, and if you've got a kid who's curious about how things work, this is a must-see. And then there was the Cirque du Hilarious. The name says it all really. It's a circus show with a heavy dose of comedy. Think slapstick, ridiculous stunts, and performers who are clearly having as much fun as the audience. There were moments where it felt like things were going wrong, but that was entirely the point. The timing was spot on and it had us all in stitches. Even our youngest, who can be a bit nervous around loud performances, was laughing along. It's the kind of show that works for everyone, from toddlers to grandparents. We heard one lady complain that the jokes were too rude, but we found it hilarious. And for something completely different, there was Electric City. This one is a high-energy, neon-drenched dance show. Think futuristic costumes, UV lights, and pumping music. The production values were surprisingly high. It felt like something you'd expect to see at a much posher venue. Our girls were mesmerised by the dancers and the lights, and even our son, who can sometimes pretend he's too cool, was tapping his foot along. It's a great late evening option if the kids still have energy to burn and you want something a bit more spectacle driven. We also caught the Masked Singer show, which we've enjoyed in previous years. The production standards are decent, and it's fun guessing who the secret celebrities are. We're going to go with Marty Pellon for the finale. Even if you've never heard of them. And if you don't watch the show, it's still entertaining. For fans, I imagine it's a real treat.
And a round of applause for our Masked Singer panel this evening, Red Corn Kyle!
As well as the big shows, there's always the disco at Red's. It's a great place for the kids to burn off some energy on the dance floor. It's also where you'll find most of the smuggled in tinnies, unsupervised children and sticky tables. We were a bit less relaxed about letting our kids roll around on the floor here, but the atmosphere is fun and geared towards them. You'll also find various shows in the Skyline. We didn't sit down for any of these, but we saw some as we was passing through on the way to other things. We did see a lot of families enjoying themselves here, and it's another good place to relax and let the kids run about. One thing I noticed running through a lot of the shows, and I really appreciated this, was the anti-woke humour. Not in a nasty or mean-spirited way, but a refreshing willingness to be a bit cheeky, a bit old school, and not take itself too seriously. There were jokes that were clearly aimed at the adults, and a bit of gentle mockery of modern sensibilities. It gave that general feeling that we was all there to have fun without anyone getting offended. It felt like a throwback to a time when comedy could just be comedy. The presenters had a great balance of keeping it family friendly while still giving the grown-ups something to laugh at. It's a small thing, but it made the entertainment feel more inclusive in the best way.
So please make some noise for the primates!
We had our first swimming session on the second day. They use a free flow system for entry, which is great for access and really adds a lot of value to the holiday, but it does get crowded. Waiting for the popular slides takes a while. It's a massive pool though, 4 distinct areas. A big pool, a baby pool with a wave machine, a lazy river, and a slide area where you'll see a lot of queues. We could barely find a locker or a changing room when we got in, but once we were in the water, we had loads of fun. The water was so warm, it was actually hard to leave and face the cold. The changing rooms were a bit slimy, but that's part of the course with public pools, isn't it? Especially one as busy as this. I managed to escape for an hour to the sports hall. You can play pool, snooker, or darts. It was busy, but £7 for an hour on a pool table felt like great value. Darts seemed to be free. The only downside? Not enough queues. So there was a bit of a wait for the tables, and there was quite a lot of dust and muck on our table in particular. Things such as queue chalk seemed to have long run out, but we had fun in the hour that we was there. Let's talk about the bars. The drink prices are okay, but the service, very patchy. You can go to a bar that looks quiet, be waiting behind one person and still end up standing there for 5 to 10 minutes while staff change barrels, restock, or just generally flap around behind the counter. There are weird queue barriers that aren't explained, so you see people waiting in the wrong place, wondering why they're being ignored by the bar staff. I actually gave up a couple of times at the bar. You stand there wondering if that pint is really worth the wait, and I saw others do the same. Ordering via the app might be the better bet, but after chasing up orders on previous stays, we were a bit reluctant to do this all the time. It's a shame because when you finally do get served, the staff are perfectly polite. The arcades have plenty of choice. Our strategy? Divert the kids straight to the 2p machines. It's the best time for money value that you'll get, and they love winning those tiny little toys that drop. Also be warned, you'll need a mountain of tickets to afford anything remotely worth it from the shop. So invest in the machines that are their own reward, unless you're prepared to blow a lot of money on tat. The weather wasn't brilliant on our stay, so we didn't do our usual walk to Inglemells or spend any time on the beach like we have on previous stays. But those are nice little extras to consider if you need a change of scenery from the site. Worth keeping in mind for a summer trip, and obviously you're not too far from Skegness. One thing we noticed around the site, massive puddles everywhere. Maybe it was just getting us in the mood for the Peppa Pig show, jumping in muddy puddles, but it does make you wonder about drainage and maintenance. I should mention, before we wrap, that there is actually a whole load of activities we didn't get around to. Butlins offers climbing, sports sessions, mini golf, and various bookable experiences that you can add on. If you're the type of family who likes to pack your schedule, there's plenty more on offer. We didn't try them this time, but it's worth knowing they're there if you want to fill your days beyond the fairground and pool. There's also a great free park called the Sky Park, which we managed to stay away from until the last day. The kids will probably be asking to go there non-stop otherwise. So, let's wrap this up with a proper pros and cons list. Pros first. The value for what's included is genuinely great. Unlimited fairground rides, all the main stage shows, the swimming pool, it's all part of the package. The shows themselves are genuinely high quality entertainment. The Animal Guys production was something I would happily have paid for separately. And the dining package, while not gourmet, saved us a fortune and a huge amount of stress with 3 hungry kids. And you can upgrade this package if you want to. Now, the cons. The accommodation was scruffy, there's no other way to put it. Some of the part looked worn and tired. The queuing system for shows feels disorganised, booking seems to mean very little, and you end up sitting on the floor or having to stand if you're not early enough. And the bar service? Patchy at best. It shouldn't take 10 minutes to get a pint when there's only one person ahead of you in the queue. But here's the thing. We've been coming here every couple of years for almost a decade now. We've seen Butlins through different stages, from pushing a pram to chasing a 9-year-old through the arcade. And despite the scruffy carpets and the queues, we keep coming back. Because the kids absolutely love it. And as a parent, watching them have that much fun, that's worth a lot. So, the big question, is Butlins worth it? For us, at £715 for 5 people, including 4 nights accommodation, breakfast, tea, unlimited fairground rides, swimming and all the shows, yes, absolutely. Would I have felt the same at the original £933 price? Maybe, only just. That price promise made a huge difference to how we perceived the value. There's not really anything comparable. The shows and fairgrounds take it beyond the likes of your Havens and similar parks, and at the other end of the scale, Centre Parks is far costlier for far less entertainment. Butlins isn't luxury. It's chaotic, it's a bit worn around the edges, and you have to be prepared for queues and patchy service. But if you go in with the right expectations, knowing that you're paying for convenience and entertainment, not a 5-star accommodation, it's a genuinely great family holiday. Would we go back? Yeah, I think we will. In another couple of years, when the kids are a bit older. It'll be interesting to see how the experience changes again. That's the thing about Butlins. It's a bit like a family time capsule. If you've got a Butlins story, good or bad, drop it in the comments. I'd love to hear how your experience compares. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next adventure. Do you want to go home?